So one of the questions I asked myself when Retro Cowgirl came to me was, can I make a music video with just one camera and just one lens?
Don't you ever test me or second guess me. Don't you know who I am? When we go out dancing, the people, they clap their hands.
So Retro Cowgirl actually found me through Thumbtack, and they sifted through some of my projects and they liked what they saw. And I had listened to their music and I was blown away. You know, a lot of times we'll get leads and it'll be for creative projects and the vision creatively just doesn't align. Sometimes, you know, you'll hear an artist, a musician who wants to do something with you, but the music just isn't there, or it just doesn't mesh with your style. And it was really one of the first times I'd heard an artist and I really, really liked them just right out of the gate. And so I listened to a song. I was blown away by Julia, the lead singer. I was blown away by her voice, and I just, you know, couldn't wait to get started. So we got started with pre-production, and I did all of the pre-production in Milanote. I did all of the, you know, storyboarding, all the concept ideas, script concepts, all the organization we kept in Milanote so everybody could, you know, just have it on their phones and see at a glance as things progress, as ideas progress and move along. Okay, so the production is really where things got interesting because, you know, Retro Cowgirl was on a limited budget. They were a new artist at the time, and they only had a couple singles. So really, we had to just use what I have on hand. And so, you know, now I have a couple different cameras, but at the time, I really, my main rig was the Pocket Cinema Camera 6K and the Sigma 18-35. And so, you know, without having to rent anything, I was just going to use that. And then in terms of lighting, I had a couple of Aputure lights, the 200X and the 100D that I own, and also a couple of Westcott fluorescent softboxes. And so I thought, would it be possible to just do this whole music video concept with just that? And they were responsible for the location. And so, you know, we thought if we could have an awesome enough location and, you know, with all of my equipment, of course, the expertise of me and several other people I had as crew members, then with our limited budget, I think it would be possible. But there were definitely questions we had to answer. So number one was, could the Pocket Cinema Camera on its own do all of the filming? I've used Blackmagic products for so long, it's not even a question to me. I know what the cameras are capable of, and I know how they can be implemented in, you know, so many different ways, and how their, you know, specs have just been so awesome. I mean, I bought the original Pocket. I bought the cinema camera from way back in the day, the actual Blackmagic cinema camera, and so I've been a believer since that time. And I knew that shooting with that in a music video context wouldn't be a problem. Even though the camera doesn't have in-body stabilization or a automatic follow focus and things like this, you know, I knew that it wouldn't be a problem if we just have everything sound from a technical level. Really just focusing on the film fundamentals. And I think that was the key, is like, as long as you have a firm grasp on the fundamentals of lighting, on the fundamentals of film, storyboarding, framing, composition, then really the camera body it's not going to be an issue. That's the conclusion that we came to. with this music video. Now, the other question that was really interesting from a production standpoint was, can we do this whole thing with one lens? Because that's not as simple as a camera body, and it puts a lot of pressure on artistic choices. Your composition becomes limited, but given all the circumstances, we chose to work with that because of the budget we had, and we didn't stick to wide shots. But I think in the music video, if you watch it full length, what you can see is that it has some elements, I think, of older film, right? Because it doesn't have all these cutaways, all these macro shots. It really, like, the music video really doesn't have that. And I think the music video having a concept of this sort of like crime thriller, more kind of dated to like the 70s or 60s, it really helps with the look, and it kind of justifies those lens choices, right? So I thought it was cool that was a challenge we had in production that we could solve with just creative choices during the process. Now, another production decision that we had to make due to budget was no gimbal rigs, no stabilizers, and so nothing like that, right? Like, all the tracking shots, all the movement is going to be handheld or on a tripod. This element of any camera operator's work is going to come down to their talent, their preparation, their creativity, right? Because at the end of the day, it was just my hands and a tripod that was sculpting the look of this. What I chose to do creatively was really just, first of all, shoot everything in slow-mo. That's, for me, in a music video like this, it's really just what I want to see in post, right? Because I'm also doing all the editing for this, but it also gives me the option, if I want to speed things up, add motion blur in post. And for some of these shots in dance where there's punch-ins and these, like, where my hands are replacing a dolly, having that shot in slow-mo, and for my movements to be just really as controlled as possible on production day, that was the key to the look of this. Because I love having the subtle movement, the left to right tracking shots, what's replacing a Dana dolly, right? Like, if you have the budget, you would get a Dana dolly, but my hands are replacing this. And so just shooting in slow-mo in a controlled motion really replaced all that, which I thought at the end of the day was a great result, even for some of the more dynamic movements. Now, in terms of the lighting, we used all Aputure lighting, and this was really our saving grace in the production, because the lighting was intensive. When we got in there, this room, which was a good sized room, if I were to guess the dimensions, it was maybe 25 feet by 25 feet. So it was a pretty good sized room for what we were working in, and it was pretty much pitch black. There were string lights at the top of this location, but of course that doesn't do anything for the pocket cameras. They need actual lights. So the way we rigged it was we had the Aputures up top with some scrims over the top, just shooting down light on everything. And that was for the main sequences with, the fighting and the two agents getting to the bar. That's what we use for most everything. And then for the performance scenes, those sequences, we just gaffed the lights on the roof because they had beams coming across. We would kind of pretty easily mount them up there. But, you know, we just basically took these few lights that we had and just rotated them from sequence to sequence. We would sometimes, if we had them up there, we could just angle them for different sequences, but we really just maximized those few aperture lights, and they did amazing for us. The other thing that was a huge deal was having the Bluetooth app connection to where we can control the lights remotely, because I was pretty much doing all of the lighting and the camera work, and my brother Lewis was doing a lot of the directing, so that was really helpful. But you know, if I'm running the lights and the cameras, then I have to be able to do it from my phone. I have to be able to switch things around without having to get on a ladder and everything. It saves so much time using the Aputure lights, being able to shoot that way. We definitely wouldn't have got as much as we did without having those lights. And so basically we got all that out. I got all the editing done in, you know, like less than 30 days, and we put out the music video, and it had an awesome response from their people. And what's even better is that they had an amazing response from who would be their sponsor. So I guess there's not more that you could ask for, because they put out the music video and they got the attention of Topo Chico, who at the time was sponsoring artists to basically post on their page. And what was amazing was that they saw their music video and they saw the dance music video, and they were like, okay, we'll pay you for this, which covered the budget of that first one. Then we worked a little more with Topo Chico and had a meeting with them, and they wanted to sponsor the next one, which is up now, and that one's called Honey. So what's awesome and what should be really encouraging to everyone, musicians who are looking to do music videos with people with a Blackmagic, or just, you know, videographers who use this kind of equipment, is that, you know, not only can it be worth it for an artist to have their music video shot with this, but it can be paid for, right? Like there are people willing to pay them for that. And so, you know, as a videographer who uses this equipment, that should empower you to you know, to charge what you need to charge, and to you know, just feel confident using this equipment, because it's awesome. So that's my video on using the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K with the Sigma 18-35 lens for music videos. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel. I'll be putting out more videos on the Blackmagic line of cameras soon. I have a couple of videos planned in the future that are going to be awesome, that include the 12K. So please like this video, subscribe to the channel. I'll be putting out more content soon. Thanks.